The Rock Island TM22 semi-automatic 22 long rifle. We're going to do, rifle. We're going to disassemble it in this video, field strip it. We're going to field strip it to clean it. Now we have the rifle, we have the manual, and you're going to need 5mm Allen, 3mm Allen, some sort of punch for the pin. Oh yeah, so whatever this is like a 1/16 or something. Very small punch and a hammer. Alright, so we'll get started. I'm in a different area because of weather and all kinds of weird stuff. So let's go to town here. Alright, first thing we're going to do is check, make sure the gun is unloaded, and fire it so we don't have the springs in that compressed. Okay, or the firing pin or whatever. And the first step, pretty simple, is, they show you in the manual basic unloaded. This is where the 5mm goes here. And then to get a little closer. So you take the 5mm, and there's one screw right here in front of the magazine housing, or down here. And we'll take this out and remove the stock. Just set that there. Alright, so as you see now, we have the trigger housing here. Quite large. So this, I guess, comes out as one unit. You get your 3mm, and you start here with this one. Okay, 3mm screw, and then one in the back here. Okay, remove the other 3mm screw. Then this housing should just, the hammer. Yeah, pull that hammer back when you get it out. But there's the trigger housing, magazine housing, all little one unit that just comes out. And that is polymer or plastic or something. And here's the bolt. Now, next, what we have to do is remove the operating hammer. And that's the 3mm. Or operating handle. And the thing about this is it can be placed on either side. So I guess this thing just unscrews. Very long screw. And you just pull it out. Now I like having them on the other side, the right side. And all you got to do when you reassemble it, you can change it from one side to the other. So I guess just kind of push that thing in there. But they say it can be changed. It doesn't want to fit in there. Alright, now the fun part. This is where, in the back here, you can see it. There's a little pin. I'm going to drive this pin out, and then that's the recoil spring and everything. And I don't know, I got the smallest punch that I could find. 1/16 of an inch or something. I got it out of one of my kits. And this is difficult for me to do on camera, but line up the punch. Okay, and as I thought, checking the directions, it just says remove spring slowly, but this is all under tension. Okay. So when you drive this pin out to a certain point, everything will go shooting out the back end of the receiver. And what is inside there is basically this spring spring with a little metal piece. I had to go look for this. This goes in first, or that's what came out first. And then the end cap that goes into the receiver, and there's a hole. That pin goes through a little tiny hole in this. So this is going to be a nightmare. I'm probably going to have somebody help me do it because of my hand the way it is. This is a royal pain in the ass to do this. So we have those parts out. Now that we have all the springs and stuff out, the bolt kind of just lifts up out of there, or will fall out of there if you turn it the other way. And there's your bolt here, you know. And that's about it for the disassembly. It's a polymer upper, so you want to wipe this out maybe with solvent. You don't want to use carburetor cleaner. It kind of has a tendency to soften or melt the damn plastic type material or polymer materials. But that's getting it apart, and that is a bit complicated. And if you notice, I left the pin in there. I didn't drive it all the way out. Okay, so that way when we get back to doing this, and there's a tiny hole in there you got to line up under spring pressure. You have to line this thing back up in here, push it in under spring pressure, then tap that down. I'm going to probably have to get my wife to help me reassemble this. I ain't going to be able to do it by myself. Alright, I'm going to go wash up everything, or clean off everything, clean the gun up. And you do want to get the oil and stuff out, because there is some on there. And 22s, the blowbacks, they're very dirty. Within a short period of time, this will get all covered with fouling and crud, and your gun will probably jam up on you. So you should clean this stuff out of here and the barrel before you shoot it. Alright, I'm going to go do that real quick, and then we'll reassemble this thing that, you know, really, I've never seen nothing as complicated to get apart, you know, stuff flying out of it and that. It's a inexpensive gun, but it's a pain in the ass to field strip. Okay, we have the gun cleaned, disassembled, light lubrication, and we're getting ready to reassemble it. Now this is where I ran into a problem. So we'll look at the receiver, and if you look down inside you can see there's a groove in there. Well, this is where the top of this bolt runs in that groove, and this is the recoil spring and the little metal piece. Now when I pulled that back thing off, all of this shot out of the back of the gun. So you got the metal piece and the spring, and it only goes on one way, and it engages this bolt on that tab. So the bolt has to be in the receiver before you put this back in with this back plug into the rear of the receiver through that hole in there. Okay, and if you notice, I did not drive that pin all the way out. I left it hanging there. This is extremely difficult to get back in. I've had to get my wife to help me. With my hand, I can't do it. But we're going to try to do this, and the game plan is get the bolt in, hold it down, compress the spring, then you got to hold the spring, get this plastic thing back in. There's a tiny hole. We're going to use this to lock it in there. Then I'm going to rotate it around, and we're going to tap that pin back down to where it gets started and finish the job. And I do not recommend disassembling this. This is a nightmare. So we're going to start. If I get misses, and the tool we're going to use to compress the spring is a skewer we have for shish kebabs and toasting marshmallows. It just fits. It's almost the right diameter to fit into the receiver. So, okay, let's go. Bolt goes back in the slot. Get it in. And now this is the tricky part. I have to hold this bolt, and the other difficult thing is no matter which way you turn it, the bolt will fall out. So we're going to put the spring and the metal thing in there. Okay, I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave this for Mrs. Koba. Hopefully we can see it. Now let me get in there and do this. Okay. Oh no, wait a minute. I got to do it the other way because I have to put the punch in. So we have to put it. See, that's what was giving us the hard time. Because what I have to do is once we position this, I have to use the punch to hold it all captive once in there. Okay. Okay, got it in there, darling. The plastic. Okay. Now we got to rotate that thing to where there it is. There it is. It's going down.
Top?
Yep. Okay.
Tap it up. Pull it up. Okay.
There. Now, I have it down. Take the hammer. Okay. There. It's captive. Oh. Alright. And drive the pin back till it's flush. Here, give me a tap. Okay. A little more. Okay, let's take a look at it. Just a little more. Okay. Perfect. Whew. Alright, now that we got this back in, as you see the level of difficulty is out of control here. So, give me a minute to take a break, and I'm going to give you a suggestion on how far to go with the disassembly to clean this particular gun. Oh shit. Alright, at this point, after this difficulty, I strongly suggest and if you move this at all and this bolt comes out, that'll snap in there and you have to redo this all over again. Take the bolt handle, and we'll do it from this side so you can see. Oof. Place it back in the bolt. Long screw with 3mm Allen wrench. Don't let that bolt drop out. and secure the bolt into the gun, but be careful. This thing has a tendency to slip out, and if it falls out, then you'll have to retake off the spring and all this horrible nonsense again. Alright, so now we're at the point where we have to reinstall the trigger group. Now remember, I had to pull that back a little to get it to fit in there, so if you take it down all the way, you're going to have to adjust that. And there is a little bit of pressure on there. Now let's see if we cock it all the way, what happens. Yeah, goes in a little bit better, still a little pressure, but you don't want to inadvertently trip the trigger. And then, again, 2 bolts, forward and rear, with the 3mm Allen wrench. And we get the back one done. Make sure they're nice and snug without getting too crazy. It is polymer plastic. While we got it off, we'll do a little function test. Okay, everything is running good. Now all we need is the 5mm and get the stock back on. For the final assembly, I still have it in there, the 5mm wrench. Drop the stock. Oh, there we go. Push it back, get it in. And I did mount this on the right hand side. Okay. Alright, so make sure that's tight. And somehow in all the confusion, I mounted the op handle, which will go on either side on the right side. Alright. Okay, so as you see, disassembling this gun is not an easy task. Maybe some of you will try it and be able to perform it better than me, but with my disability, this turned into a nightmare. If I knew it was that difficult to take it apart, I would have never went that far with it. If you could just pull the stock and the trigger group out and kind of clean it out that way, I don't know. But really, if I knew this gun was that hard to take apart, okay, it just caught me by surprise. So now we got it clean. We're going to go out and shoot it, but be warned, okay? And eventually, you have to take the gun apart and clean it eventually. You can shoot it for a while without cleaning it, but eventually it's going to gum up and you're going to have to do it. Alright then, like I always say, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.